I was really clear. And the whole way my retirement happened was actually, it stands for the whole creative life, really. Because I was due for a sabbatical leave in 2003. And so at the end of 2002, leaving the university couldn't have been further from my mind. I was having a sabbatical. When you have a sabbatical, you don't leave, you go back and teach, at least for a couple of years, to give back what I mean, it's morally incorrect to take a leave knowing that you're not going to go back, So that was fine. Halfway through that leave year, 2003, I turned 60. And I remember on my birthday having this thought, something about being 60. And I went to my filing cabinet and got out a folder that had in it my machinations about whether I should take voluntary redundancy about 4 or 5 years beforehand. There were a whole lot of voluntary redundancies at Canterbury around the late 90s, to be followed by compulsory redundancies. Everybody was shit scared. So they all do their sums. And I worked out then that financially it was impossible for me to leave before I was 60 years old. Put all my figures and stuff back in the filing cabinet, forgot about it. 60th birthday, out comes my filing cabinet again. I look at this thing. I'll never forget this. I don't have to go back. Now this happened on August the 2nd, 2003. On August the 1st, as far as I was concerned, I was in the middle of a sabbatical leave. Me leaving, if someone had said, you're now going to resign from the university, I would have laughed my head off. Honestly, it was like that. The light turned on, and I knew that if I went back then, I'd probably be dead within 6 months, because I immediately started to sense this huge stress that I was under there. I was burnt out, totally, for all sorts of reasons. Very quickly, 2 weeks later, I wrote my letter of resignation. That was that. And then I thought, now I'm going to put into practice the principles that I've always taught, and that is self-regulated, self-actualisation in work. No deadlines, no commissions, not I've ever accepted any. The pure research ethic. Follow something for its own sake for as long as it takes. I'm just going to sit here, develop the studio, feed the cat, mow the lawn, do the washing, dance tango, and just incorporate the working process in my life process at an absolutely mundane level. Now, it'll either atrophy and stop, or it won't. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. And of course it didn't. It just absolutely snowballed like anything. But it also became an absolutely, doing studies every day, became the same as taking a walk in the park and having a coffee. It was just, became absolutely, totally part of the fabric of my everyday life. And the works just took as long as they took. Some took years, others took a shorter time. The subject matter just sort of, the whole thing became just an absolutely natural thing to me. And that's what's produced all the work since then. And boy, do I feel lucky. Enormously lucky to have been given that time. You know, it doesn't really matter what happens now. As dear old Jack said to me before he died, you know, well, if you make it to 60, the rest is a bonus. Well, I've had a huge bonus, and it still seems to be going. Obviously going to stop at some point, but so I didn't retire. I just kept going. But But it wasn't a question of sort of, not with any heightened intention. It was the opposite. I just relaxed into it, just allowed it. And this whole business of allowing, well, it's a huge privilege to be able to do that, of course, and that's why when I go to all these other institutions that I've been to in the last 10 years, and they've got multi-channel facilities, particularly Mexico quite recently, and the students that come have already made their work to a certain level using their laptops and headphones, and then they have 2 hours a week, if they're lucky, inside this multi-channel studio to diffuse and spatialise their work. It's just a fucking disaster. It's ridiculous. It a bit like some of the things we were discussing earlier in the car about what's happened in society generally. And it's overtly counterproductive. It can't possibly work. There's no time. Time is the most important thing. Unlimited time. So that you've got your finger on yourself 24 hours a day for as long as it takes. And in this case, a facility that no one else sets foot in. I mean, just look around you. This isn't just a studio. It's a magic cave. It's a place where I can inhabit my own world. And you need, I believe, if you do that, that's not right. If you need that part of your personality and you can achieve it, then you can go to very special places, providing you're prepared to be patient enough and determined enough to keep trying, no matter how many times you fail. And failure is all part of the bill. You never ever reach where you really feel you want to. You always fall short. It's just a question of how far short. It's just crucial that you need to lower yourself down into the problem solving and then allow it, and learn how to deal with the obstacles and the failures and the frustration and the not knowing what to do, because when you can, go and mow the lawn if you don't know what to do, or pat the cat, or go for a walk, or go wave skiing, or dance tango, but all the time you're waiting, and then something will happen. Find yourself in Alice's video, and you just go and pick something and you put it in, and suddenly, right in the middle of this film, somebody says something, you go, fuck me, that's it, and you're back inside again, and you don't know when it's going to happen, but you know it will, because it always does. I don't think that paradigm is very common in research institutes, and if you're going to make useful decisions, they need to be made in the context of work, not just in the context of data or understanding a phenomenon. It's just different thing. And to have a life partner who accepts that reality as normal. That's the way it is. I mean, all this money could be spent on a new car, or all sorts of stuff, or painting the house, or something, But it would never occur to Colleen that that's a priority. And actually, that's a crucially invaluable thing. Needs to be said, actually. Because when I'm in a spot, I don't know what to do, she's the one who sits in that chair and gives me her responses. And she's not a trained musician, but she's got a highly developed aesthetic. And, she knows more about this genre than most of the boffins sitting in research centres all around the world, actually. So that's the retirement thing. Retirement. It's not a good word. No, it's not a good word.